Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. You know, we do a lot of things behind the scenes that you guys don't normally get to see, like communication with all of the vendors and the products they got to ship out, communication with the watch makers themselves when they'll talk to us about what's happening and what's coming and what problems we're seeing, and communication with our peers in the industry, those that are watch face designers, those that are the troubleshooters, and work with getting these things up and running for folks that are having problems. It never ends, honestly. In that vein, I'm going to show you a little video today that's not really meant for the public. It's dedicated to one watch designer, Alrod, who has got he's got a huge inventory of watch faces he's been creating, but all of a sudden watch design is changing. We're getting different pixels per inch in these round watches, and he's concerned, as am I, and you would be too, on whether or not his creations, his designs will render properly on a screen that is 320 by 320 pixels. This is the LF25 we just recently reviewed, LEMFO. Compared with a 454 by 454 pixels, which is the new up-and-coming screen size first premiered on this LEMFO LEM9. Big difference. The standard has been 400 by 400 for a long time, the AMOLED displays, and everybody kind of designs to that. But will they scale? That's a big question. And how well will they look? Well, what you're going to see, what Alrod is getting today, is a look at over 300 of his faces that are in the premium pack. He has a free pack, you know, you can download and check out his stuff. And then if you want to buy more, I think he's got it set up. A one price gets you access to the entire library of all of his featured watch faces. So what you're going to see here, what he's going to see here, and I'm just going to put it up here. Tune it off if you're not interested. This really is not a production video to be released to you guys, like, you know, polished and edited and all that junk. It's more one of those streaming live things, but I can't figure that out, so I'm just going to stream it and upload it for him. But instead of just making it a private video, I'll go ahead and make it public so you guys can see, because he deserves his work shown, and it's really good stuff. Some of it may not be scaling right, and this is like a troubleshooting video, and you can work on that to polish them up and get it right. And most of them, I think, are. So we're going to take a look at that. Just so that you're not wasting your time, I do want to point out something in the new LEM9. By the way, I got it all set up to change the time, because you want to make these things at 10:10, basically, when you review watches. Before we go there, let me come back over here to the LEM9. Let's pull this off. I've been working on an update video for this, but I put it on hold because LEMFO is sending me a brand new prototype that replaces this prototype because they've really been working on some bugs and features. Let's get back here to the main dial, which is right here. That's the very first one alphabetically of Alrod's premium faces. We'll look at these in detail. But what I want to talk about is that ambient kind of mode that this watch does. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the review of the LEM9, the one with the camera down here at the bottom. It's got two processors inside of it. The standard one that we're looking at here, which runs like we've all seen on these Android 711 watches. And then a special mode that you get into when you go to this thing called long standby. Now, there's two aspects of this. In the original one that you saw in the review, when I'm back in the regular watch face here, and if I turn it off, it would take a moment, and then it would flip into the ambient screen, and that would be on. So in a sense, it's an always-on watch. Well, right now, in the firmware that's shipping, that's been disabled. But it's temporary, we understand. They're working on the tight integration of the two completely different CPUs, processors. The one that generates that screen that you should be seeing right here, and the one that generates the full Android screen that you see right here. There's two implementations, like I say. There's that one, which is kind of an always time display, that if you turn the main screen off, it should come back up into the other one. And then there's this, what they call long standby. And this literally takes the watch out of function as a smartwatch and turns it into a bracelet mode. Bracelet being, it basically shows the time. So what it's doing now is basically rebooting into this particular screen. And we showed that to you guys before. It's got the time and the date, and they're all zeroed right now because I haven't been using it, but you know, the step count, calories burned, and monitoring your power level. Well, couple of new things have emerged as they're iterating this firmware. By the way, what you're seeing here on the LEMFO LEM9 is, I'm pretty sure, this foundation of what you're going to be seeing on the new wave of watches coming in, which is why we need to analyze what the watch faces look like in this size on these screens, because this is going to be the new screen to replace the 400 by 400 that'll have this dual processor thing. Things like the KOSPET Optimus Pro. Have you heard about that one? Have you watched the Avengers movie yet? KOSPET's watch. Makibes has got an M3 coming out. And there's a few more on the horizon, working out the bugs, pre-orders being taken right now. I got copies coming in for review, and they're all going to be based on this. And this new edition, as I understand, propagates to all of them. So watch this. Watch this. Watch this. This watch is showing the ambient screen that we've talked about. But if you press the bottom button here, you get another display that's going to show you your step count, calories burned, and distance traveled based on the pedometer inside the watch. And it's not going to go off. It's going to stay on, folks, because it's in the bracelet mode. Oh, I have the back off because I was testing the SIM in here. Yeah, it's getting good 4G, you know, but it's hard. It's really delicate to try to test that stuff out. But it's working. It's working okay. On AT&T, in the USA, blah, blah, blah. You know, you got to get carrier specific on all of that. Anyway, that first press takes you to here. And now, are you sitting down? I hope so. Because watch this. Press it again. Wow. You're getting into your heart rate reading, continuous, 24/7, live heart rate. Takes it a little while to get going, but once it does, it's going to stay on the screen, updating regularly with your pulse, with your heart rate, in a screen that never turns off. So if you've even wanted that feature alone, and to heck with having an Android watch, the LEM9 shipping right now with the firmware in it will do this, and it just cycles between these three screens. You've got time, you've got step count information, and you've got heart rate. As long as you're wearing it, you'll be getting an accurate, regular, 24/7 continuous heart rate. Black against white, viewable outdoors in filtered sun, because this is not a very bright screen they're giving you to keep the battery on as long as possible. It's a trade-off. But if you cover it, you can see that. Unfortunately, and I've been harping at them for a while now, this is hardly readable at all, especially that blue. And I'm really hoping they change this to either white on black or bright yellow, you know, or something bright colors here so the contrast is higher so you can see it outside. But nonetheless, this is happening with the LEM9 as we speak, and I have a new one coming in. I'll be doing an updated review on that one, and the firmware is being updated too. And those of you who've already bought this watch, get ready, because hopefully there'll be an OTA, an over-the-air firmware push update that will add these other features if you don't have them yet in your version, and hopefully we'll put back in that ambient mode, that always time mode when you're in your regular watch, and just turn the screen off if you choose to select that. There, gave you a meaningful video. Now, back to Alrod. What I'm going to do is set this up, and we're going to go through and compare these faces for him. Let's go. Got these both set for 10:05. We'll run it for about 10 minutes, and then we'll reset the time. See what we can get covered in that time. Here's the first watch face, and just talking about it briefly, you can see that it's scaling perfectly on both watches. It's been able to compress it down or expand it out to fit the actual screen, irregardless of the resolution of the screen. And that's really good. It also, to point out, the font size on both of them is the same. So even though the pixels per inch is different in the screens, we're not seeing a significant change in bigger or smaller fonts. Not the same way that you do when you actually go into the fonts themselves when you're in the actual operating system. Those tend to have differences. They'll be a little larger on the smaller resolution screen when you dive into it than they are on the larger resolution, will give you smaller overall fonts. Okay, but that's not what we're here for. We're giving Alrod a peek at his faces. I'm going to jump through the duplicate ones because they should be the same except just the color change. Here is an Apollo 11 screen. And we've adjusted the brightness on both of them so they should be pretty close together. I'll let it go for a second or two so Alrod can take a look at them in case there's anything he sees that he wants to work with. And like I mentioned, there's about 300 faces in here, so we're going to be here for a while. I'm noticing something strange happening here. Looks like one of the Avengers movies going through the quantum field, huh? I think time is not going exactly right. Anyway, that's a fun one. May need a little bit of adjustment. Here's a camo face. Come on, you. Okay. The seconds are off a little because you saw I hit the time differently, and I manually set the time, so it's not synchronized. So don't worry that the internals are all messed up. Okay. Oh, by the way, see 98%, 99%? I charged them both up to 100, and we are running from 100% on both watches to see, with a combination of the screen type and the battery, exactly how long is it going to take to run down and at what rate do they run down. So this is actually a good measure because we're actually using both watches, doing active things on them, keeping the screen alive, and I'll be doing that through this whole thing. And when you get to the end, we'll kind of be checking the battery life all along the line to get a feel for what the battery drain is. Here's one of my favorites of Alrod's. Now you can see 99%, 98%, really clear. This is his famous Audi one with the fast-moving circles and stuff, rendering really nicely on both watches. Very good. Okay. By the way, you saw it has a white square background, so it's scaling up so none of that is showing. So designed for 400 by 400, it's actually looking really, really good. Here we have some falling leaves against a wooden background. Did I set that at 9 instead of 10? Looks like I did. Let me go fix that. There, now they're matched. Okay. And another one similar. Now we go to the next one. Aha, talking about Avengers. Have you seen Endgame yet? Man, you got to see that one. Make sure you really study all your characters first, though. There's a lot of depth in that movie. No wonder people are going to go see it 2 or 3 or 4 times. Okay, that was that one. Interesting white, kind of, white and black. It's some writing down at the bottom, tiny little markers down here and up there. A lot of fine detail, and to me it's looking great. Alrod's got the keen designer's eye on this, though, so you might see things I'm not catching because I'm not really looking at everything. Here's the hour and minute, day and date. Okay, looking good, huh? A little bit different colorations on these two showing up right there. I don't know if that's a design thing or a rendering thing. Oh, you may start hearing rain outside. It's a nice rainy day here. Again, this is not meant to be a polished video, guys. Although I keep talking like it is, don't I? I can't shut myself up. It's really just a video for Alrod to work with his premium designs. This is a nice one, the Beatles. Cool. Very cool. I don't know, to me this screen looks bigger. They're supposed to both be 1.39 inches, is it? Or is that one 1.3? I have to look it up. The LF25. There's just too many statistics and numbers to keep up in my mind. But looking good. This one scrolls and slides a lot easier than the LEM9. I don't know, for whatever reason. This isn't as touch responsive. Might have a little screen protector on it. Another reason I take those off. I like to get much more sensitivity in my screens. This is just press and swipe and let go. It's just right with me. This one takes a little longer to get there and doesn't want to come back right away. At least that's what I'm experiencing right now. This is a little bit different color. I'm looking at the colors on the camera, and it's true. What I'm seeing on the camera, I'm seeing here. This has got a more of a brown hue to it. This is more beige. That's what I'm seeing. And it's not an effect of the orange roller, because that's behind both of them. You don't see the color shifts, really, unless you have two watches side by side, I guess. Yeah, not happy with that touch response. But again, that's a prototype watch, and they're working on a lot of aspects. I hope they're working on touch sensitivity as well. Here's another one. I like the brightness of the 1012 and then the darker way that the other numbers are rendered on there. Really clean designs. They've got good character to them. That's why I like featuring Alrod's work here. Come back here. Yes, I can get upset every now and then. Okay, big digits for those who really like to look at the time and be able to see it, with a very interesting font flashing in here. Okay, I guess that's step count perhaps. That looks like battery, 97, 96. So we're dropping a few points, huh? Okay. Let's see what else we've got. We've got, wow, this has got kind of a 3D look to it. Turned sideways. I like that. Odd little display. Hello. There we go. I know it's driving you guys nuts out there, but again, this is not meant to be like a production video. But if you're watching it, that's great. Alrod's going to get some good info out of it. Let's see. Oh, wow. With this one. Now, this one's pretty wild. Look at the animation going on behind the eyes. Again, I'm seeing the same thing. It's looking really good on both of them. Interesting. I would expect if there's some misbehavior between them, it's going to be in the clock engines of both of them, and they'll see the same thing. So the only differences we're kind of looking for are the rendering differences here. You see that fine little circle around the outside on these? On this one, and it may be the screen is a little off-center behind the watch, but I see that line disappearing over on this side. I see it over here, I see it up there, but it's not as prevalent over there. Here you see it too, all the way around, all the way around. Oh, that's just another version of the same thing with different logos. Okay, good. We can skip through a bunch of these. They're basically the same watch, or same watch face. Okay, here's this one. So I said we'd shift the time back after it gets to about quarter after, and this looks like a good face to do that on. I love this concept where the second hand sweeps the color change, but it's also subtly changing when your eye is not watching on the needle. It's actually changing all the way around. Very cool. Okay, take a pause and we'll reset the time. Okay, we reset the time. We're on that same watch face we were looking at, and we'll continue going. Now, although I did pause the camera, is this the same? It looks like it was just a different brand logo, probably. I did pause the camera, but I didn't pause the watches, although I did reset the time. So you're going to really have absolutely no way to monitor the time on this thing to the second, because both the camera and the time have been shifted. But I'm moving quickly. I'm not taking long pauses, so the battery drain, if there is any, is going to be, you'll be pretty close if you're doing calculations based on the timestamp of the YouTube and how long we go for the whole video. Okay, that's cool. Flashing eyes on a cobra. You know, if I were doing this really professional, I'd probably have 100,000 edits in here. I'd just switch watch faces and you wouldn't have to watch me do all of this. Yeah. But you're not so lucky. You get it raw. This is cool. Look at that. The turning gears. A lot of these I've never seen. So, yeah, it's in addition to getting a chance to show Alrod what the rendering capabilities are of his designs, it's a nice walkthrough of his work. Later, I plan to pick out favorites and put that in my master file of watch faces I love to install on all of my watches. Is that second hand? I'm not sure what that hand is. It's not moving. Oh, there's a second hand. Okay. Huh. A lot going on in this one. Busy, busy watch face. That circle there is bigger than that one right there. You see that? There's your battery power, 96, 94. They seem to be going relatively linearly. This one's dropping a little quicker. Wow, okay, we've got a propeller spinning around here. We're almost up to the 1010. I hope some of you guys really like watch faces like I do and are getting some joy out of this video. Yeah, wow, look at that. The Earth map behind it. Date on there, red second hand, all the names of the towns and cities and whatnot around the edge. Like one of those world time watch faces. Hello. Okay. Another design. With so many faces to choose from, it really does get hard to hone down on the ones you particularly like as your favorites. Wow, there's a lot of detail in there. Let's bring that up just for a moment to show you close on each of them. Got the 24-hour clock on the outside. Okay. Interesting. It must take a long time to do each of these designs, especially with the detail in here. See something sweeping through here? Oh, whoa, you're not supposed to see that. Wait a minute. This is a G-rated channel. Never mind, never. Look away, look away. Shame on you, Alrod. Oh my goodness. I didn't notice that until I see something's moving there. Yeah, well, okay. There we go. A broken watch. I love it. One fun thing is you can see when you change faces on these new Android 7 watches, it does a funny little thing before it settles down. So you can look and see what are the things that are actually moving. And this is really creative because the broken watch hands are actually showing the time, 10:10, and the second hand, but it looks like it's shattered and the faces all fell off. But they happen to land where the circle is telling the real time. Of course, he's got the digital time in the middle. It'd be fun to see, by the way, Alrod, it'd be fun to see a version of that with nothing in the middle, okay? So it just looks like a cracked glass, like a real, broken analog watch, if you want to make a modification for it. Here's another fun one. Interesting soft pastel colors. Yeah, that's a tiny bit darker green than that one is, but look at that outside. Yeah, the colors are different. They're really different in the camera. Not quite as different when you look at them directly. Ooh, this is taking a while to load. Or is it? Aha, there could be an issue with the the thumbnail file on. No, the thumbnail's working. I don't know why it's not working, but there you go. There's one that's not rendering on either of them. Thank goodness it's not locking up the watch, right? Okay, here's an interesting Casio. I've not seen this. I like this. This is cool. You got the analog time, the sweep second, literally sweep second hand. Wow. Okay, I got to flag that one. That's going on my favorites list for sure. Very interesting. Okay, another camouflage one. It's so camouflaged I don't see the... Oh, it's like 10, 12. So this is going to move around and... Wow. Okay, so that's the minutes. That's the hour peeking through the camo with a pseudo watch hand. Wow. You have to kind of look at that at a different time. Let me see if I do this, what does it do? No, the circle went around there. That stayed there. I really don't know, but it is 10:12. So, wow, very cool. Okay, we'll go a little bit further till about quarter after, and then we'll adjust it again. Wow, big clunky hour hand or minute hand going around. Lots of digital data in here. Again, the rendering all the way to the edge is looking really good. Okay. Whoa, this is nice. Look at the heart rate sensor. Oh, look at that. We're getting a heart rate from this one. Well, that's interesting. The paint roller has a 76 beat heart rate. The fact it's not changing, it might mean that this one doesn't clear the memory out, but it just holds the last beat for the heck of it. And you guys don't mind. You're here as long as you want to be, right? I'm going to go ahead and cover the sensor and see if that changes the heart rate. Might not even be activated. So this might be pulling the last heart rate from memory. Because when you do the actual heart rate sensor thing, you get a number, it records that number. Yeah, that's not changing. The diode's not lighting up, so it's probably just showing the last heart rate. Okay, another digital one. We're at about 10:14. Yeah, see, that's got a heart rate of 76 it's showing, and that's 0. So what I'm going to do is reset the time. I'm going to put both of these on and run the heart rate thing and get a real heart rate number so we can see what's going on with the heart rate. I'll be right back. But I'm going to keep everything running, so don't go away. Okay, you can see the heart rate was 76 for an earlier reading on the one on the left, and now it's getting 63, 64. The one on the right just kicked in. It started at 90 something, but now it's iterating and averaging over time, and it's dropping some. Very interesting that the difference is so high between the two of them. One would hope that given long enough, a minute or two, that they would both settle down on the same heart rate. because it's the same one heart feeding both arms and both fingers, but there's a 10-point difference. Interesting. Which one's accurate, guys? Huh? Yep, you're right. Neither. Neither one's accurate. Don't trust either one of them. Not for your life, okay? But hey, at least you're alive, right? All right, a good 10-point difference in the heart rates between the two. Now, if I take my finger off, they both stop, which is good. So they're taking real readings. All right, I'm going to bail out of here. We're going to reset the time. And it's got to press the bottom one there. Do we have heart rate numbers? Yeah, we do. See, 67 and 77. So that was correct. It's just displaying the heart rate as picked up by the sensor, the last reading. It's not doing continuous heart rate. Let's get set up again. Well, it's getting a little brighter outside now, so that's going to make the screens look a little bit dimmer. But I think we'll still be able to make them out. We'll adjust that if we need to. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at this one. Whoa. Whoa. Well, that's going to go on my fun list. Mrs. Tix is going to love that. I'll have to slip that on one of her watches and have her find it. Thanks, Alrod. Cool. Very cool. I like that one. Yeah, a watch should be fun. I mean, it can tell time, but you can do so much more with it. Okay, this is a good one too. Yeah. I've been so busy with watch reviews and other things that I just haven't had time to do what we're doing right now and go through and really check all the different faces. Here's another Casio one, similar to the one we saw before. So it must have a slightly different name convention because these have all been installed in alphabetical order. So if you're wondering the name of any of these, good luck. You're going to need to go to Alrod's big sheet that shows all of the different watch faces. Another light-faced one, similar, but with different logo or something on it. Another one, and this one. Okay. Come on, screen. Thank you. Digital and analog. Some stuff twirling down here. Oh, the ring just shifted at the top of the hour. This is a yellow, and that's an orange. So coloring of the watch screens is different for whatever reason. Oh, that's a wild one. Again, we have touch sensitivity issues with the LEM9. Second hand is going around with a person in it. Interesting. Okay. And that one. And oh, a Christmas one. Okay. Snowflakes. Flashing Christmas tree. Getting some background reflection on this watch, huh? With the overhead ceiling here. Try to adjust that a bit. So you can tell the difference of what's on the watch and what's in the background. Another Christmas snowy one. We must be up to the seas. I hate how you have to hit 2 or 3 times to get this thing to render. Falling snow over a manger scene, it looks like. Wow. Come back here. There we go. With a digital display. Okay, I'm going to take a moment and brighten both screens because outside it's getting bright and it's making it a little harder to see everything. There, that's much better now, huh? Yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. We have weather. I think this one's set on PM and this is on AM. Oh, very interesting. Because look, the sky is dark. This sky's got the sun and clouds. Huh. Did you do that, Alrod? Have you got it set so that AM and PM are represented differently with the background? Is it slowly changing? Interesting. Well, I'm glad they're set differently. That way we can see the way they render in day and night, perhaps. Okay, another one. This is really bright red over here. I think this one's a little bit dimmer comparatively. Oh, that's another rendition of the same thing with something different in it, different logo or different something. Or else I'm just getting two thumbnails, I'm not sure which. Here we go with the clouds again and the sky and a different look. Aha, yeah, they are different backgrounds. And again, this one's got the sun in the background. Wow, what is this one? A dancer? Very cool. Oh, got one of those body skin things on, right? Yeah, cool. All right. Like a ballet dancer. And the font is interesting. I'm not quite sure how it's telling the time. 10:11 is that? 10:11? Creative. Yeah, it looks like it was about at 10:11, huh? Hey, another one. Don't want to spend too long on each of them, especially if they're just your stock standard watch faces. Same thing in a different color. Another one, different color. Keep moving through here. Heart rate. Oh yeah, here, look at this. We're at 87 and 83 now. So the small watch with the small display, but a 600, I think it's 600 milliamp hour battery, is draining faster. As far as I know, nothing else turned on. So let's check. Is there anything else turned on? What have we got on here? Oh shoot, we have location services. Well, it's on both of them. But let's turn that off because GPS running in the background is going to eat up power. Bluetooth I don't need. Actually, Wi-Fi I don't need either for right now. Okay, so you see how I just invalidated the whole battery test? There's so many parameters you got to check. So there's a possible reason why this one is draining a little bit more because it had a little bit more stuff on, but they both had location services. So now we should see the battery draining a lot less by not having GPS on. But we do have the bright screen going. But this one might be a little brighter than that one, which should eat battery, and this one a little more than that one. Very, very subtle and very, very difficult to try to actually get some reproducible results with the batteries in these things. Okay, I'm skipping through similar looking ones with different logos. So we have actually different watch faces. Thank you. There we go. That's nice. I like that one. That's similar to one we saw earlier. Everything is kind of twisted a little bit. I don't have any step counts on either of them, so the step counters are showing 0 right now. This is so smooth and easy. I don't know. This is frustrating. Okay, we've got the world circling. Got a little red dot down here, which isn't the time. It's 10:14. I don't know what that dot's about. Huh, really don't. Is that a power dot? Okay. And we're at a good point to reset the time. So let's get that done. There we go. Time back another 10-15 minutes worth. Here's a nice one with reds and whites and blacks. Same watch, different color, different watch. Okay. A lot of fine detail in here. Colors are definitely turning out different between the two watches. And they are different, completely different types of screens as well, which is interesting. Here's a dark one, subdued already. So might work good for a night watch. Same thing in a different color. Oh, here's something with a rotating propeller and airplanes. Propellers going in counter directions, and this one looking like it's going really fast because it's blurry. Airplanes flying around. A lot of detail in there. And of course, the time. Gotta have the time, right? Slightly different. What's different about this one? More airplane? No, same thing. Okay, maybe that's another one where we have two thumbnails. The reason we sometimes get two thumbnails is there are two different ways that the watch clock engines worked and in the past, and they each required a specific name for the thumbnail. And if you didn't have that name correct, you wouldn't see a thumbnail when you were looking at your available watch faces. And so one of the things I noticed Alrod does with his is he puts in both of those file names so that no matter what watch you're doing it on, a KW88 class or a D5 class or these new watch faces, you'll at least have one thumbnail. And as a result, sometimes you end up with two. And there's a easy trick you can use to get rid of the extra one, which I won't go into a lot of detail. Come on, this is really crazy. I might have to do a different watch. If this wasn't the only one that I've got of this size, I would switch to a different watch because I'm not happy with the way the screen touch is working. Same with this one. It's the only Android 7.1.1 out on the market. Okay, just a little bit different color so far with the 320 by 320 screen. So we're looking at the extremes of new watch technology. This is more old, but not really in the fact that it's a 7.1 watch. We've seen this size on earlier Android, but now we're seeing it actually on the 7.1.1. Very odd and interesting font there. Yay, it worked that time. Okay, seconds are creeping out of here. You got your basic info in the circles, 85%, 81%. And of course, you can't correlate that with time because I'm constantly changing the time on here, but we can kind of compare the two watches together at least. Oh, I like that one too. That's nice. I gotta flag these. Okay, I'm gonna put that on my favorites. Yeah, that's a colorful one. Very fun. I've got a 9-year-old niece that would like to play with that one, I think. Oh, yeah! I've noticed a few of these different watch faces. Looks like what Alrod has done, now I'm talking to you guys watching, not Al, he knows. He's taken a movie like Destiny 2 and put the title up there and then have scenes from the movie that are rotating and flashing down in the bottom with the time and of course all your other information. So we look for this format because this is the first one I've seen in our scrolling like this, but I noticed several of them that he's done like that. And yeah, here you go. Okay. We'll just kind of show you on this watch what they look like because I can move through them quicker. Oh, just those two. Well, there's more later. I think. Uh-oh. I think they're. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. It got a bathing suit on underneath there. Good, good, good. Okay, dating back to the 1950s, is it? When we saw these kind of watches with the... Uh-oh. I get so embarrassed on this stuff. I shouldn't, but I don't know what I can say that's politically correct and YouTube won't throw me off. Here we go, moving on. Nice green with, wow, a lot of action going on here. Every one of these coming from a whole different perspective. It's really nice. All in the Pro collection or Premium collection. And easy to download. You know, he's got them all set up in folders on a Google Drive kind of a concept. So you can grab them by downloading a zip file, and then you unzip that file and you just simply drag them over to your watch in the clock skin folder and reset the watch, you know, going all the way to the end and hitting that little arrow in the upper corner to reset the directory of the watch. And all of the watch faces, thumbnails are available then, and you do what we're doing right now. You just scroll through them and look at them. Wow, nice. Of course, ahead of time, what we're doing here, you could go through and make your own notes about which ones you really like that you're seeing on the screen, and then just simply hunt down those particular faces and install them. Ah, really nice. Okay, you got the fast-moving, what do they call that wheel on the real analog watches that help to regulate the time? I know there's a name for it. I can't think of it right now. Oh, did you notice different weather too are coming in? There's sunny, and that's partly cloudy. So that data is being fed by the watches. They're both getting, for some reason, different weather. One may be getting no weather at all, probably the sunny one, and this one might be getting the actual weather as well. Okay, getting into gears. Look at this. This is a very nice watch face too. I like that one. Look at subtly what's going on deep down inside the gears. Very nice. I think we're only just a part way through here too. We've got 300 of these. Wow. Okay, a nice nighttime playful watch. Uh-huh. Oh, here we got a second hand running backwards. There's subtleties to this coding. If you hand code, you figure this stuff out, and you have a code that flips the direction from clockwise to counterclockwise. And then you have the layers that build up on top of that. That's the same in a different color. And it's also going backwards. And if you don't do the flipping just right, or the sequencing just right, you wind up with things like hands running backwards. Easy to see on the second hand. I don't know if the hour and minute hand were or not. Okay, here's a background that's doing some very interesting things. Stuff flashing on and off. The digital time. Good rendering on both watches. I don't think rendering is going to be an issue. I think it's going to be automatically handled by the way the watches map the faces to the available pixels that they have to put them on. It scales them correctly. Alrighty, we're going to take a moment and reset the time again because we're getting where the hands are going to start messing with some of the objects on the screen. And picking up for another round, Harley Davidson. Simple background, hands, markers. Nice, clean, easy design. And definitely Harley. Okay, here we have something different going on. It's 10 after, so this is the minutes down here. There's 10, 10. The date. Fun to figure these out. Ooh, okay. Here we've got rotating, intertwined, geometric markers where whole sections are turning, it looks like, the center being the seconds. LEM9 again and LEF25, both LEMFO watches. LEMFO is definitely jumping into the variety of watch designs. They're excelling at bringing to market some great Android watches. This is great. This is nice. Look at the subtle small gears rotating, even in the center. That's one worth looking close at. I gotta say, I like the coloring on the LEM9 better than the LF25 personally. It's just got a warmer beige brown feel to it. Nothing that I can apparently correct by just changing the overall brightness either. So we are in a much higher class, higher quality screen on the bigger, more expensive watch, which makes sense. The blues render pretty similarly. It's the yellow, beige, browns that change. Oh, this is different. Hello. Always comes to this, as I like certain characteristics of one watch and certain of another. There we got the lot of activity happening. Wow, 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 wow. I sometimes wonder if watch designers like dream of these things and then jump up out of bed and go put them together. A lot of them looks like they, are designs that they've borrowed and modified from other watch designs, but a few of these things that are just like really off the wall. Where did those concepts come from? Did I miss one? I must have missed one. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I haven't taken a break yet, so after this one, I'm going to take a significant break, and then we'll see how the time changes. I'll leave both watches on, so they'll continue draining at proper rate. Uh-oh, here we go, another one with a second hand going backwards. That hand's going correctly, but the main second hand is going backwards. And the weather is different between the two, as we saw. Okay. That's going backwards, but that may be by intent. The sweeps are going forward. There's no main second hand on this one. But then I'm getting into the nuance of the design, which is not my job. I'm just showing how they render and giving you guys a chance to see the premium watch faces that Alrod has available on the web. Aircraft. Very nice. It's very similar. Now here's a different one. Okay. Yeah, much brighter reds, richer reds over here than here. So definitely getting a higher quality screen on the LEM9. Without going into technical details about AMOLED or IPS or any of the other stuff, it just looks richer between the two. How are you holding up out there? Lucky you. You can hit the pause button or stop it or watch it anytime you want to. You could even run this thing and let my boring voice put you to sleep, right? But Uncle Tix is going to need to take a little break here in a minute. This is cute. Got a little sports car running around over the digital time, like it's running behind the whole thing. 8177. Here we go. Similar. Something's different. The logo's different for the car on here. All of these. So we'll skip ahead and come back to here. Now we got 1010. We're right at 1010. There's all the information on the screens. Oh, just the same thing with different colors, which is nice to have that variety. Now we've got a bright watch face, good for when you need a flashlight, giving us analog and digital, and words, letters around the outside. Heart rate is on both of these, a 67, 77. Here it is without the letters, expanded out, but same concept face. Now we've got a bit of a game going. Let it run for a moment so we can see what changes are happening in here. Some things happen quickly, and some of the watches, you know, takes a minute, takes an hour for everything to shift. Okay, now we're into company logos. Here's something else with flags. And because it's 10, I guess it's up here. Not sure how you tell the time on there. Do you know? I don't know. Is there time, Alrod? Am I missing something? I'm seeing like a second hand going around. Should be about 10:12 or something. What time is it? What time is it? I got all these watches. Okay, about like that. And there's no... Is that the marker for the hour hand there? I don't know. I have to sit with that one. Anyway, here's how this renders. You've got the 24-hour time. If this is set for AM and PM, and this is PM, then that would be correct. But for AM, the hour hand should be down here. So I'm not sure if the hour hand is rendering in a 24-hour format. You might want to check this one. Make sure, because I think we have one set for AM and one for PM, right? Maybe not. Again, that would be another whole factor to check the AM, PM representation on 24-hour clocks. Here we've got butterfly with some flashing lights going on it. Like reflections on diamonds or something, right? Good lady's face. Some more. Oh no, not yet. Okay. Another similar one. Oh, good, these are all grouped together. Oh, we have different colors. Let's try a different color just for fun on this one. Same concept watch. Different colors being represented there. It's almost like one of those eye tests, the subtle yellow that's in there. There it is in purple. Oh, wow. Okay, good. A bunch of colors on this one. Definitely watch faces for the ladies here in this premium collection, so make sure you know that. All right, we are at 10:15, and I'm going to turn the power off completely on both of these, take a lunch break, and then we'll regroup. For you, it'll be instantaneous, but if you're monitoring the power and how it's changing, that's what's going to happen. Let me find something that's got power on here. There we go, 75% on this one, And this is hovering at 80. So 5% difference, starting at 100% for both of them. I'll be back in a little while. There, did you have a nice break? You haven't taken one yet. Oh, we've been at this an hour. You should take a break. Anyway, just wanted to note that they are both set to AM when I've been doing the time check between them, but yet the watch face backgrounds were really different. I am going to go ahead and set this one to PM though, just so we can see how that plays out. But I have no idea, Alrod, why the background image with the clouds and the sun and the night expressed differently on the watches, both showing AM time at exactly the same. Very odd. So, with that said, let's flip back in here and continue working our way through all of these watch faces. Alrighty. I think this is where we left off. Tuesday the 30th, it says. And the first one we show in our second hour is another nice ladies' watch with a heart. Nice Valentine's type of a face, with simulated jewels around the edge, or not. You see? Okay, you can show the combinations that way. Then we get into a rose. He says, hello. Still being fussy. I've cleaned the screen, I've done everything. It's just not touch sensitive. Looks larger on this screen for some reason, and brighter. But again, we've already talked about the screen resolution. Here's the same kind of thing with digital. Guess I should show that for the scaling, right? This is a more busy one. So you can see how the digital is scaling. The loops here are pointing to the time, apparently. By the way, we're at 78% and 73% after the break, which was about an hour, a little over an hour, and I had both watches turned off during that time. And here we go with a digital watch. Centigrade temperature on both of them. Don't see any way to change that. Still no step count, and I haven't done any more heart rate. That should be the same. We'll skip over the different colors and come to here. Oh, that's pretty. Nice digital time at the top. 50. I'm not sure what that is down at the bottom. Not heart rate and not battery power. And now you really see the difference in the vibrancy of the colors on the two different types of screens, huh? Very muted, which is okay. I mean, if you like normal or bloomed, this is like a Samsung display, and this is like, regular phone displays. Different. Okay. Whoops. Ooh, we got a fun dandelion, it looks like, with a black border around the very edges of it, offset nicely, straight analog time, renders well on both watches, different color. We're in the springtime collection. Again, bright, vibrant colors, wow, all right. Now back to kind of digital watches. Again, they're all being displayed alphabetically by the name Alrod's given each of these faces, not anything else. So they're going to be kind of mixed up and not categorized in any specific way. Oh, a different ballerina with her legs showing time. That's different, that's for sure. 10, 07, nice. And then the analog as well, while she rotates around. Very cute. Very creative. Okay, here we have a different coloration of the same kind of thing. Now we're back to some more flags. I had trouble with this one trying to figure out the time. I think that little tick mark is the minute hand, right? And we've got digital on the inside. Some daisies. Are those daisies? Springtime flowers with some busy circles running around, and a second hand that's going backwards again. We're running into a few watches that could stand a little bit of polish. Wow, wow, really? Look at the color difference. That's like a deep pink and that's a white. Am I missing something? No, that's it. Whoa, really different color right there. I'm gonna move this white screen for a minute. See that difference? Well, it's more vivid in person than it is on the screen. That's definitely pink. That's definitely white with just a hint of pink in the display. Nothing you can do about that, Alrod, I'm sure. And this is just two of an infinite number of watches, all of which will probably render colors differently. But you do have control over scaling to an extent, I imagine, and definitely rotation of the hands and things. Digital, analog, combination. That's nice. Elegant. Goes really good on this one, doesn't it? The steel kind of a color, and it looks nice on this one. I'm not a big fan of a lot of writing on the bezels. It's okay if it's got little marks like that, but you know, when you're messing around with a variety of spaces, it's almost like you need vanilla ice cream as the carrier for anything else you want to add to it. You kind of need a vanilla bezel if you're going to do crazy things with your watch faces, so that it doesn't detract. If you look at the overall thing with all that bezel going on, to me it detracts from that particular face as opposed to this one. But that's just my personal opinion. Okay. Mickey! Doing his step count, kind of like on the original Apple Watch. You see a little pattern of his feet down below too. That's interesting. And of course the hands represent the time. I do not think these are going to be in sync with all other watches around the world, like Apple when they first came out was hyping that everybody in a conference room would have their Mickeys doing exactly the same thing, which is kind of what happens in boardrooms across America. There's a bas relief, is that what you call it? Or a cutout image of Mickey with the standard hands. Now we're getting into a lot of logo stuff here, and I don't want to go into all of that stuff. We've hyped it for years about, you know, copyrights and giving attribution and recognition and retribution and all the other things. Leave it to say that Alrod, when he was posting these kind of faces on the community bulletin boards, was good about giving acknowledgement to where his sources were for any information used in a watch face. I'm not sure if that capability exists anymore now that the G Plus community is gone to continue with that level of detail. I hope so. We have a video up talking about where to go to see the watch faces now that the G Plus community is closed down, and Alrod's is one of them, and there's several others, and encourage you to watch that video so you can see more about where you can find creative watch faces like these. This is a fun one. Look how it's kind of for lefty or for righty. You could wear the watch on either arm and have time and date. Yep, for those of you lefties who wear your watch on the right and you want to have the buttons pointed out, this watch face will do that for you. And your brain automatically knows which face to look at, doesn't it? Yeah, 10-12. Cool. And he's got it in here in a variety of different themes to play with as well. Okay, moving on. Couple more before we change the time again. We get about 10 minutes out of all of this. Again, I keep showing both of them for comparison purposes because, as a reminder, this is just an internal video for Alrod to help him to polish up his face designs in his premium pack, of which all of these that you're looking at belong. Here we go with the Close Encounters is the movie at the top, and the flashing at the bottom is the particular scenes from the movie with digital time. So he's got a template face for doing this with different movies. We'll just skip through a few of them. There's Star Wars. We've got Justice League going on this one. And that's it. Uh-oh, I'm seeing a fatal error coming through. That must mean that it's time to reset the time. Starting MS-DOS. The blue screen of death, right? Remember that? Wow, DOS. Long time ago. Of course, Windows still runs on top of it. All right, I will be back after I correct this error. And just a reminder, you are looking at two LEMFO watches, the LF25, which is a 320 by 320 screen. This is the LEM9, the newest class of watches coming out now with 454 by 454 pixels in a 1.39-inch screen standard display. It used to be 400 by 400, and this video is meant for Alrod to review his watch faces, which are part of his premium collection, to check out how well they render on the different screens. And that's what's taken so long, to go through these one by one and show them. Okay, you see something here. Look at the red around the outside of this one coming through. Compare it with this one. Now, I don't know if a little bit of that's getting cut off, or it's just the colors are so subdued compared to this. I think it's a color issue with the screen. It just doesn't reproduce the vibrancy as well. At the same thing with a different logo, and another one, and another one, and another one. Yeah, all of these with the different logo until we get to this face, which is totally different. Okay. I bet some of you wonder if I sit and I talk to myself as much as I do when I'm doing this. I do. That's right. That's how I got good at this. If you call this being good at it. Yeah, sometimes I sit around and I'll listen to myself talking, and one of these days I got to record it and just kind of say, what the heck was I talking about? Of course, I use a little bit more colorful language from time to time, but it depends on the situation. Okay, there we go again. I really like the vibrancy of the AMOLED screen. What is this one, IPS or something? I don't have the specs in front of me, but it's a less expensive watch, obviously. 320 by 320 doesn't have as much memory, and the screen isn't as good, but gets the job done. Also looks like the power isn't as great as I thought it would be. I thought possibly because it had a smaller resolution screen, fewer pixels to light up, is the same watch face now, but with a different color, that it would have a really good battery life. And I'm not saying it's a horrible battery life, but it doesn't seem to be as good as what we're getting out of the LEM9 so far. Okay, new faces. This is a dark one. There, leave her right there. Rendering is good all the way out. No, I don't know how many we have left. I know. It's getting old. It's getting long. You don't have to watch it all at one time, you know. I have to make it all at one time, but you can watch it whenever you want. In pieces, if you like. But then, if you can binge Netflix, you can binge this one. Okay, well, this is kind of fun. Copper gold is what I'm seeing in real life. Not sure what you're seeing on the screen. Again, the background matters. Yeah, really different rendering of the coloration. I don't know, does that paper help or not, having it in pure white on the background? Kind of a detractor, isn't it? I think so. Anyway, here it is in red-ish and bright red-ish. I may as well show you the colors. Yeah, I'm going to lose the paper. Okay. Now we got a different one. Wow, we got a little turbine rotating. Omega. The turbine's going left, and the second hand is correctly going clockwise. Okay, another Omega design, which leads me to think we're in the O section of the alphabet by now. Golly, that means we got a lot more to go. I got to keep moving quickly. But these are all different designs. No, same design, different colors, right? Because we want to skip all of that. This is a different design. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm skipping past. You want to see them together? Okay. This is getting kind of bright now. I think clouds have come out outside, and so this is starting to bloom out a little bit. It's not yellow like that. It's still kind of a greenish color. But the dark ones we want to have bright enough to render. Well, interesting digital display where the numbers are kind of faded. I haven't seen that font before. And for you watch face designers, oh boy, this opens Pandora's box. You see all the different things that are in here. In particular, the hands and the fonts are watch pieces. And in the old days of a real watch crafter, they would collect, little drawers full of watch faces or watch hands and things. Here's a Popeye. Really nice flesh rendition here. Kind of a funky color there. I think that's Popeye. Don't see his head, but the hands look sort of like it. What you can do, if you're a watch creator, is harvest hands and numbers for the fonts and things like that, because all of these things are part of the HTML code that's used to piece together a watch face. And I'm sure Alrod's got a huge collection of these. Some he's created, some he's probably borrowed from others. And you pick out the hands that you think will work the best with a particular design. Now, the background, where the numbers that are around the scale and all that kind of stuff are probably fixed with the background image itself, done in Photoshop or whatever. But like that little number 73 with the lightning bolt, that particular font is composed of numbers. That font has to be presented to the XML code when it needs it in order to pull it up and render it properly as a black font. And here you go. See a different font here. Different hands all together. Very creative, and tons and tons and tons of resources in each of these watch faces. 73 to 67. Our power continues to drop as expected, but more or less linearly now that we've turned off the location services and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and stuff. Here's another one of those angled ones. Looks like a dirty watch, right? It's kind of like you need to wipe off the screen because the digits look a little dirty. Again, that particular font is a specialized font for that particular face. And all of that code is inside those folders that you drop into your clock skin master folder on your watch. Inside that master folder are little folders, usually carrying the name of the watch face, which is what I've sorted on, those folder names alphabetically for everything that you're looking at here. And inside that are these little fonts and these hands and all of the information that's needed to show this watch face. So when you learn how to do hand coding HTML, which I highly recommend, you're able to modify and adjust things on the fly. Change hands out if you'd like to. You have hands from a different one that you like. Commenting on this one, look, there's only one hand, a minute hand, and your hour is covered here by the digits. And this, I don't know, is power level maybe down there and step count. A different way of showing a watch face in analog digital where you need both. Usually you have redundancy because you have the hour and the minute in both styles. But there, it's you don't know the minute without the analog hand. Okay, here's another dark kind of a face. Sorry about the reflections from the ceiling. Okay. We're getting down to where it's almost time to reset the face again, huh? 10:13-ish. Come on, you. And look in the background how it's changing dynamically. Very interesting. Yeah. These weather symbols, they're kind of universal, but they have to be in that same folder as well. So you can mess around with the icons if you want to for weather. Here we go, a Pong game of sorts. Not Pong, what is it? Aliens? I wasn't a gamer even way back then, so I don't know the names of them. It's yeah, it's interesting, animated, where each screen is changing every second, it looks like. Probably 10 different screens, and each one is acting as if it were, in a sense, a number. But instead of a number, it's an actual screen overlay. Wow, okay. Getting into some nice gears. There's a fun watch, although it's a little challenging to see what time it is. 10:15 on that one. Well, that one too, but I mean, it just looks like a compass hand, and gears everywhere, which seems like this is a good one to pause on while we reset the minute hand again. Back again, and I've changed the brightness a little bit down on that one because it was a bit brighter. Maybe that's why the colors were blooming somewhat as well. And there you can see I changed the time back 10 minutes. Give us another run. Here's different colors of that same watch. And now here's a different one, and we are in a Rolex. So we're probably in the R's in the alphabet, in case you're scrolling through the list. Kind of busy with these hands all over the place, but you can read around them. Is that the same thing with a different, something different about it? Okay, here's our weather. You see how it's different patterns for the weather. Digital, the layout's nice. And a different watch here. Again, using the Rolex design with moving gears, subtle ones in there too. Barely moving. That's a nice one. They're all nice. I just love watches. What can I say? Okay, you saw the thumbnail was 22, meaning it was set for 24-hour time. And although this is in PM and this is in AM, they're both set for AM, PM time, 12-hour time. But as you've noticed, one of the things Alrod does not do on his designs is incorporate the little AM, PM designation. So they can either be flipped from 24-hour to 12-hour, but you won't know if it's AM or PM, which could cause a little issue in setting the time and, of course, setting your alarms. But once you've got it straightened out, you probably know whether you're living in AM time or PM time, and all you need to know is what the hour and minute is. So it's kind of redundant, but yeah, I don't see AM and PM on his work. There's another digital similar to this design, but now replaced with digital in here instead of analog. All right, we'll show you that one too. I'm just going to flip through them now because they're rendering edge to edge okay, which is kind of what we were looking at. But they are the same design, but considerably different in their layout, not just color changes. Okay, now we're getting into some fun sports cars. Digital time. Step count over there. Here's a red one. Yeah, they're a little more color matched now that this is toned down in brightness. Oftentimes the camera will work off of the saturation of the colors based on brightness too. So really hard to get these things matched to compare side by side with such a change in the atmosphere. I think the second hand's going backwards on this one as well, looks like. Let's try this one. Yeah, we've got a hand down here, and up here the second hand, and then the hours and minutes. What is that little thing for? Huh. There's a different... Oh, whoa. Did I miss one? Yeah, I guess I did. Okay, now we're already here. You probably hear some outside noises. Again, this is not set up to be a professional video. It's a testing video for Alrod. So with the neighbors mowing their lawns and doing whatever's going on out there, chickens, we'll just leave it. Usually I try to edit and record around that kind of stuff so you guys don't get it. But like I said, this is a behind the scenes kind of a video. All right, here we've got a fun flashing. Wow, got airplanes coming by too. Cool. Welcome to my world. Nice, I like that. That's a fun face too. Here is a slightly different. What's different about this one? Color green instead of red. Little subtleties. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, I already love that one. That's fun. Oh, yeah. Wow, Alrod, you've got a creative mind. You can go from rhinestones flashing for the ladies to skulls glowing. Amazing. Okay, another interesting. It looks like a shadow behind the screen, doesn't it? Like you're seeing the parts that are working, and there's some sort of a light shining through, which there is, but pixel by pixel, this doesn't look that way. It looks different, like a screen. Okay, Snoopy, think. Simple little face. Very nice. We're finally at the official 1010 we like to be at. Another one, which puts us in the S's in the directory. Oh, that looks like a T for Tesla, right? So maybe we're just starting the T's. So if you're following alphabetically where we are, we just transitioned to the T's. And we have a few more of these, I'm sure. Yeah. Really good collection, full collection. Lots and lots of faces here. Now I'm seeing a pink hue coming through here, almost like matching the paint roller. That's much more beige. You've got some turning gear kind of action down at the bottom. Wow. Very creative. Looks like a spider. Oh, wow. You see it flash as it renders it quickly. And we've got a spider web with an occasional spider coming through. Oh, that should freak some people out. Yeah, especially since it's not happening often, but it would catch your eye. And somebody might even actually think a spider just ran across the watch. Here's another one. Maybe it's a different speed or something. Yeah, it's going... Oh, two of them, and they're going slower. So, got a couple of different versions of that. Now we're on to digital. Another camouflage one. Just different background. Are we looking at the same watch? Yeah. So we're just going to skip through all of these to get to the next. Wow, there's a bunch of them. What's happened there? Different colors. Wow. Okay, now we're moving into a different square. Look at how the whole thing on the outside is a square. I'm going to bring it up just to show. But it basically lays out the same, huh? Oh, there's a different name down at the bottom. Okay, now we're over to a different design. And we got to go through all of these. Well, that's going to move us along. There. Again, interesting shadowing from behind. Look at that. Wow. Now, I have not seen anybody do that concept other than the Alrod, the one you just did a little earlier that I was mentioning. Looks like a screen, a translucent screen. Very nice. Very, very nice. Kind of reminds me of the Japanese doors. What's that kind of rice paper they put on the doors? I bet you could do that same thing and have silhouettes of people walking back and forth if you wanted to with the wooden slats like a Japanese door. Just a thought. But you got the concept down, and once you got that concept, you can do a lot with it, I'm sure. Here we go. We've got a propeller turning anti-clockwise, as they say in Europe, right? And counterclockwise, as they say in America. Same thing like hurricanes and typhoons have different names. Whoops. Whoa, where am I? Losing track of myself. Here we go. 10:14. Wow, we're already another 10 minutes has passed. Okay, let's get to a stopping one and then we'll readjust the time. This looks like a good one. And time for another little break and resetting the watches. Reset. This looks a little redder. That looks a little browner, even though we're pretty well balanced in the brightness. I keep commenting on the color differences, but on a lot of these, that's all I can notice in terms of difference. Okay, here's a fun one. Motorcycle with the wheels are turning on it. Digital time. Power level, 6758. So we're getting more of a spread. This one is dropping faster. Odd font. Very odd font. 1004. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Again, that takes a lot of extra work because you got to have that specialized font installed in order for it to show up. Okay, more of a whitish light screened watch face. Here's 3 circles and a dark one. This is running pretty quickly in here. That looks like the lines you have for distance, huh? So I don't know, that's step count, I imagine. Yeah, fun to check these out. And another one with red hands in it. Okay, that's the weather. We're getting sunny, and now we're getting rainy over here. Was partly cloudy. So that one's probably picking up real weather because it was raining earlier. Of course, it's not right now because you can hear everybody's out with their lawnmowers. Yeah, I love it. All right. Digital, analog, little of everything in that black with red. Those are good combinations, black, white, and red. They seem to work together well. Is that the same watch? Kind of. Okay. Here's a different color. And 3 circles in a different kind of a layout. And a white watch. We're still in the T's. A lot of names use the letter T. So we have a big alphabet when we get into this one. That's different. Don't get burned out on these things now, okay? It's you want to take a break so they look fresh when you get a chance to check them out. I'm starting to burn out. You hear I'm not commenting as much on them anymore. But I do want to get this all done in one sitting so we can monitor what's going on with the battery drain. I change it too much and we wouldn't have any good data. So, plus I want to get this over to Alrod quickly so he can start working on it. So we will finish here shortly, or longly. This is an interesting design with squares and circles. That's different. A lot of fine detail in the lines and the tiny lines between the lines in that design. Here it is in a light color, kind of reverse video practically. He's highlighted the hands with shadowing on there too. See that? Yeah, attention to detail like that is really, really nice. It makes these things look very professional. Okay, now we've got that sweeping hand again. This is the Tesla design of that. Design with the colors that change when the second hand hits it. We just saw a little bit of that as it went. Now we're back to partly cloudy and sunny. I don't know why it picked up rainy, unless there weren't the proper mappings of the icon images to the actual weather forecast on that one watch, and it called it rainy instead of partly cloudy. So that could be another one, Alrod, you want to look at, is to make sure that the weather is matching up. Here we go, second hand's running anti-clockwise on this one. Same watch? Yeah. Running same way. Same thing. No, this one's running forward. Okay, so here you got some interesting stuff to look into. So that was like the third one in. 1, 2, 3. Then here's a fourth one in. That's running correctly. So, yeah, on some of these that I've been skipping over because they look like they were the same watch, just different colors, you want to check each one of them individually because there seems to be something going on with the second hands on these. And I believe we're in the T's somewhere, right? Alphabetically. Okay. The good news for you guys out there is once Alrod's had a chance to sanitize these and fix any of the little glitches as they render on these newer Android watches. Wow, hello, are you there? Seems to be locked up. Let's go to this one. His premium collection will be spotless. Nice yellow with the blue. We're in the TI for Timex. My goodness. Okay, that's the only Timex? Here's different colors of the same watch. And then yellow. Wasn't going to do this, but just a quick check of the second hand rotation since we had that other issue. And then we'll look at these two together. A lot going on in here too. Look at the gears very carefully in there. Tiny rotations, slowly. Like a real watch would do. Look at that. Look in there. Wow, really nice. Okay, digital analog combo. Same thing? Nope, different. I don't know how you do it, Alron. Of course, you've been doing it for years now, at least like all of us in this business, we can say, we've been doing it for years. That means like 4, not 40. Top Gun. Whoa, fun. Did you see that? Wow. Wow. They're black here, they're white there. Oh, wait a minute. They're white there and they're black there. I guess we're just off in the second count somehow. And this outer ring is going anti-clockwise. More sheen and shine in a turbo with the propeller hands marking time. That's nice. Good aviation watch face. Here we get Roman numerals. Now we've got rain again, or is that partly cloudy? Don't know, but it's up to the icons as they render for the particular weather that they're told is the current weather outside. Come back here. Okay. These are kind of tricky to put together. You see that the outer minute hand is going the opposite way, or the circle's going that way, so time is increasing by that thing turning that way. Same with this one there. So they're going in the opposite direction, but correctly as far as advancing the time. Nice, easy to read, unusual type of a display. And here we are on a solar thing with planets racing by, a lot of activity happening here. We've got something up in the corner there. Is that the minute as well? At 10:14 it should be over here, so I don't think so. I think that's just part of the display. But notice that the sun itself is actually rotating. You can see all the corona activity and the planets moving. So everybody's into all different kind of things, and so all this collection has a variety of eye candy to whet every appetite. Here we have like a radar hand going around with big digits, easy to read too, even when the shading goes over it. And it says it's 10:15, so time to reset everything. Hopefully one more time, because I think we're down in the W's right now. So let's do one more round, and hopefully we'll be done. As we go to a different color, and now a different design. Okay. Wow, all right, Tuesday 30th. There's a hand going around down below, counterclockwise. Interesting. Second hand is going correct. And yet a totally different design with a similar kind of color background. Oh, here's something different too. Digital, analog. Again, we're not seeing AM, PM indicators, and they're really not needed. It makes an easy transition to the 24-hour time format if you wanted to. Seen some of these before where you have humps that basically represent the time. This is a multicolored display. He's got lots of different colorations for the background on those. Okay. Another nice one. Man, I would not know how to choose what to put on display with so many to choose from. I'm really going to have to go through, and I've already mentioned a couple of the ones that just hit me right off. It's like, oh, got to have that on my main collection. Now, a lot of these are really pretty and unique, and at a specific time might be of interest, but I don't change watch faces like every 2 minutes. Although that would be fun. They should really invent a way that you could have like a folder, like your clock skin folder, and you could set a random change thing. So every minute or every time you brightened a screen or something, it would randomly pick one of the faces out from your folder. If anybody knows of an app or a way to do that, let us all know. That would be really cool. Because that's what I would love, because just taking the time to go through and select a face can be time consuming itself. And don't do it while you're driving. Not a good practice. Okay, here's another one of those where we're seeing the time with these rotating rings. And that's it. That's it, because this is that stock ambient face that Pierce and Tim Collins put together a long time ago, and that you can download from the little plus sign thing here. When you tap that and you go into the server, you can download those kind of faces. So that's the Alrod premium collection of faces, over 300 of them. Some of them are just simple color changes of other ones. Oh no, if you notice that if you don't select one and you're scrolling and scrolling, so I'm going to select something. Otherwise, it goes all the way back to where you were. So you just keep doing it, and then you randomly select something, and then you can do it again. If you're working your way through a huge collection of them, don't just swipe it, because if you accidentally somehow go out of it, you have to start all over again. All right, for those of you who are not Alrod, you've been watching Smartwatch Ticks. You've learned a little bit about the LEMFO LEM9 implementation and update, firmware update that they're doing with the ambient mode, right? That we get to by going in here and hitting long standby, he says. Reading that says the way you bail out of this is you have to hit the power button for 3 seconds, basically rebooting the watch back into its standard configuration. But when you do this, you go into the bracelet mode. And it's a standard watch face. It's on the dim side compared to what you're looking at over here. You see that? But the new feature is you have 2 more faces. You have one here that shows your step count, calories burned, and distance traveled. And you have another one, if you press again, that will take you to a live continuous heart rate screen. And that's really nice, because if you have this on your arm, it will continuously monitor your heart rate and be displaying it for you. And that screen never goes out. You're in bracelet mode. So it's really pretty darn cool to have a watch in bracelet mode be able to dynamically show you your heart rate. And I've been looking for that for years in many different watches, but all of them, the watch screen goes dark. It doesn't stay on with your heart rate. So if nothing else, the LEM9 and most likely the upcoming M3 from Makibes and Optimus Pro from KOSPET, just to name 3 of them, will have this conceptual bracelet trilogy of screens. So a lot to look forward to. Got the other ones on order, and a new one of these coming in to re-review it, because there have been quite a few changes since that first review. Alrod, you got all your watch faces now, your premium ones, as they show on the LEMFO LEM25, right? LF25, 300 by 300, 320 by 320 screen resolution, and the new 454 by 454 on the LEM9. And that's a wrap for today, guys. Don't forget to check your EKG with an EKG plus PPG smartwatch. Monitor your heart